Thank you very much. Our fourth speaker from Honeywell is James Van Ackeren, and I guess Honeywell, there's probably not any major program going on in the country, definitely, that you're not involved in with some level. And James comes here today as the Engineering Director of System Modeling and Analysis at the Aerospace Mechanical Center of Excellence. He's 30 years of experience in engineering. It's incredible. Anything engines, I think, probably defines you based on what I'm reading here. With steady state and dynamic system modeling and engine operability, performance, engine control systems, environmental control systems, fluid power performance. He serves as the engineering leader for the Honeywell Aerospace Torrance site, and this is a location that does a lot of the engineering and technology work for local issues, and again, 30 years of experience in this area, so please come on up, James.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today and the open ears that we've received this week, yesterday and today during the meetings, and the energy and passion that exists around the aerospace industry here. I'd like to just give an overview of what Honeywell Aerospace does in California. Honeywell is a conglomerate company because we're in three major business areas, aerospace being our largest, but we're also in automation control systems. So those of you that grew up with the round thermostat on your walls at home, that's part of Honeywell. Control systems for running plants and facilities, sensing technologies, scanning technologies. And then we also have a performance materials segment. So in that area, we do things like specialty fibers, high-strength fibers go on sales for yacht racing, but also into bulletproof vest. We do catalysis work out of there, so the development of automotive catalytic converters basically came out of Honeywell Technology. Honeywell Technology is heavily involved in refineries, processing fuels for a large percentage of the gasoline market across the world. But I'd like to talk about what we do in aerospace and particularly focus on California. Like in other parts of our business, we focus on areas that involve efficiency, safety, comfort, and productivity. So that's kind of the mantra as far as where our products fit. We've got, as Sandy was mentioning, a very broad portfolio of products. We support basically all the primes in the aerospace industry with various types of products we have. You can divide them into two basic segments, the electronics or avionics type suite of products and the mechanical suite of products. So we have flight control systems, navigation systems, safety systems like wind shear detection, traffic collision avoidance systems, forward-looking weather radar, those types of systems. We also do mechanical products, engines, auxiliary power units. But in California, our primary items are the ones you see at the top of the list there. Basically mechanical products in the area of environmental control systems, so the air conditioning, air management on the aircraft. Safety systems, including our fuel tank inerting systems. So I'll show a chart a bit later about what that's about. And also, even though while it's not traditionally aerospace, it is part of our aerospace business, and that's turbocharging for vehicle applications. It's very similar technologies to what we have in aerospace and basically had its home in aerospace, and it continues to be part of our aerospace business. In California, we've got 23 locations. We have the 5 largest ones depicted on the chart here, the largest being the one that I'm from in Torrance, California, which is aerospace. But we also have a big presence in automation and control systems here. About $250 million on a payroll basis. Lots of spend on the supply chain side, approaching $1 billion of spend in the state of California on the supply chain side. Fortunately, the Torrance site, we've over the last 3 or 4 years, have seen growth rates of 7 to 10% there for shipment of our products. So it's a good news story as far as growth of aerospace products in the state of California. Here, I just have a general synopsis of what some of these products are that we build in California. So the air conditioning systems. This sprung out of it, as you heard from some of the prior companies. The roots of our aerospace business was in California. Our founder was Cliff Garrett, basically in 1939. Started with engine oil coolers. It was the first product. Basically set up shop at what's now Park 1 at LAX, right next to Terminal 1. There was our original headquarters building. But sprung out of the oil cooler business, which expanded into a much broader line of thermal heat transfer equipment, which still is a large component of what we do in our environmental control systems. The heart of our environmental control systems are high-speed turbo machinery. So based on foil bearing technology, which gives you the long life, so you have non-contact bearings, allows you to stay on wing for long periods of time because you have very little wear of that equipment. The bleed air systems go hand in glove with the environmental control systems. That takes the energy off of a pressurized source, i.e. the engines on the aircraft or the auxiliary power unit, or on the ground, a ground cart, for instance. Over on the top right there, you see thermal management systems, the vapor cycle systems. We build for the F-22 program. Vapor cycle system is one of the most capable vapor cycle systems in the world as far as the efficiency. And then the power and thermal management system, which you see on there, basically is enabling technology for the F-35 aircraft. This is something that for the first time demonstrated the cooling capacity and emergency electric power off the same shaft. So what's that really mean? It means that for the aircraft, it enabled to take out of about 1,000 pounds in weight and maybe about 10 inches in length, which really enables the performance capabilities that the F-35 aircraft brings. Down at the bottom right, gas processing systems, I mentioned fuel tank inerting. So this is a technology that's similar as far as the type of performance and technology that goes into it, but basically it takes an airstream and uses polymer membrane technology to separate oxygen and nitrogen from the airstream. So you end up with one stream that's nitrogen rich. You can take that, pump it back into the ullage space in the fuel tanks so that in the event a spark occurs, you're not in a flammable region. So it provides safety on the aircraft. We're on all the Boeings except for the 787 with that particular product line. Just an example of what does an air conditioning system or an environmental control system entail on a commercial aircraft. This is the Boeing 737 Next Gen. You see in the picture down below there, it's basically a 5 to 6 foot long unit. That's one pack. There's two packs on the aircraft, so it involves very high performance heat transfer equipment and a high-speed turbo machine, which you see in the up picture in the center there. It's a three-wheel machine running on foil bearings. If we look at what's a fuel tank inerting systems, this uses a different acronym. It's onboard inert gas generation system, but it's for the purpose of fuel tank inerting. Similar system in that there's a thermal control aspect of it. It's very critical to control these polymer membranes in a certain temperature range. You want to run it as hot as you can to be more efficient, but you can't run it too hot because it is a polymer and it will melt. So you want to run in a sweet range. So thermal control is an important part of it. We partner with Parker Aerospace out of Irvine for the air separation module on there, which goes into the canisters you see on the lower right. These were designed as retrofits to existing Boeing aircraft, and then of course on new designs. Going forward, it's on all the aircraft. We have a long legacy in space. You've heard a number of comments from the other companies that are presented so far today about the space program and the impact that we've had in California. We're proud to have been on all the manned space programs. We started back in the Mercury days, but our systems have contributed to all those programs, and if I use the space station as an example, we have many of the large support subsystems on there, ranging from the internal thermal control system. We have, Sandy shaking her head, we've got the common berthing mechanism, which is the docking system, not giving birth, but it's the docking system, so that whenever vehicles go up and dock to the space station, it's the locking mechanism for that. Environmental control and life support system on the space station, as well as for breathing the carbon dioxide removal system in order to refurbish the air. And then for the cooling system, the ammonia tank system for the external thermal coolings and other products. So we've got, just on space station alone as an example, many of the significant support subsystems on there. I did already mention about the capability provided by the power and thermal management system being on a single shaft. So this is just a chart on that shows where it fits on the F-35 aircraft. Provides the functions that typically in the past have been done from an auxiliary power unit, an environmental control system, and electric power generator. So that's how the weight savings occur. This is a PR type slide, but why I put it up here is to show the content that we have on fighter aircraft and military aircraft in general. On the fighters that you see up there, the items, the systems that are highlighted in blue are all designed and built in California. So that's the California content that we provide to the U.S. fighter fleet. And you can see that we're on basically, as Sandy mentioned, pretty much everybody's platforms that we provide inputs to. Not only do we provide for things that go up in the air, we also provide systems for ground applications such as the Abrams tank. We happen to make the engine, the AGT 1500 engine, for that out of our Phoenix, Arizona location, but we make the environmental control system, which in this case includes capability to protect against nuclear, biological, and chemical threats as well. So you see the pack there that we make in Torrance, California that provides that capability. Sticking with the ground theme, going to turbocharging. So now we're getting into other types of vehicles. Garrett historically has been a leader in turbocharging systems. It ranges from the very small, less than a liter size engines up to the very large type engines, over 100 liters that go on like mining equipment. Again, it's based off of very high speed rotating equipment. When I say high speed, we're typically talking anywhere, for turbochargers, maybe 15,000 RPM. On the aerospace side, we typically start at about 30,000 RPM, go up to as high as 100,000 RPM. So very sophisticated equipment that provides the boosting for these engine systems. And then finally, the last comments I'd like to make is around the corporate citizenship. As you heard with Boeing, Honeywell focuses on the 5 areas that you see up here. So housing and shelter, family safety and security, humanitarian relief, habitat, conservation. I would like to focus on the science and math, though. As we heard, California continues to be a leader in the education system we have at the university level. But we need to make sure, in order to protect and enhance the legacy that's been developed here, that we have a continuing stream going forward of talented students moving into the universities in the future. So Honeywell employees contribute their money and put them in these different categories. But in the science and math area, we partner with NASA. We do something, if you look at the middle bullet under that column, the Honeywell Educators in Space, we have a space camp. That's actually conducted in Huntsville, Alabama. But it allows teachers to come for a week to that space camp and take away from that information they can go back and use in their classrooms. We also have FMA Live, which is based on Newton's 3 laws of motion, but it's basically targeting middle school kids, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Again, it's partnership with NASA. It's a hip-hop show. I'll have a 1-minute video I'll show right at the end to try to get the kids at that age interested in staying in science and math classes so that they don't give up the ghost before actually getting to the core subject matters later. We've also done a Honeywell Green Boot Camp, so environmental issues, which we've done in San Diego, California. This is going to be our 4th consecutive year there. So this is another one where we bring teachers to San Diego and basically give them a week of deep immersion training that they can take back to their classrooms and teach energy, sustainability, and environmental concepts in their classrooms. So just the 1-minute video that I'd like to run to just give you an impression of what the FMA Live hip-hop show is like. We've taken this to over 1,000 schools and 400,000 students nationally. In California, we've hit about 25,000 students in 63 different middle schools over about the 11 years that we've done this. But I think you'll get a sense from this 1-minute video of the energy it creates among middle school kids.
Coming to your school, Newton's Laws of Motion, as they jump off the stage. Starring your students, your principal, and Sir Isaac Newton with his laws of motion like you've never seen him before.
Are you familiar with Newton? Are you familiar with science?
Honeywell and NASA present Newton's Laws of Motion in Motion, featuring flying students, pugilist teachers, and much more. Something great happens when you combine the 3 laws of motion with Newton's other big hit, gravity. You get an unforgettable, inspirational science experience. Here's what teachers and students say about FMA Live Forces in Motion.
In one word, today's show would be amazing.
Totally amazing.
FMA Live rocks.
Very entertaining. Fantabulous.
Spectacular.
Bring FMA Live to your school this year.
So that really is a good program. I've had the opportunity to MC this at a number of schools myself, and the energy and the buzz that goes around the school is really interesting that you see with the kids. So I think it's just a good way to leave my presentation today, is that I'm real encouraged by the message we've heard here over the last couple days. You know, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion. There's clearly a legacy to build off of, an infrastructure that's in place, and it's just up to us to keep the momentum going forward, and I think the opportunities here in California. So thank you very much.
That looks like